I'd like to just welcome you all here today. My name is Marissa Jensen. I am the president of the Environmental Law Group this year. And we have a fantastic talk on protecting wildlife and sustainable communities in Southeast Asia today at lunch, and it is sponsored by the Bully Center and the Environmental Law Group. The Bully Center supports interdisciplinary education, research, and community outreach to foster sustainable communities and forests in the Intermountain West and internationally. And the ELG is a student organization here on campus, and we work to inform environmental consciousness within the legal and academic communities here on campus. And work towards preserving Montana's wildlife and also the waters and lands. So I would like to introduce Sarah Bates, who will further introduce our panel, and please enjoy today's discussion.
Thank you, Marissa. Thank you to the Bully Center. Thank you to the University of Montana Law School. Thank you to all of you for showing up and showing your interest. And especially thanks to our speakers today, two of whom have come a very long distance to come share their stories with us. And I just want to give a brief background of why they're here and what they're here to tell you about. My name is Sarah Bates. I'm with the National Wildlife Federation. We have a regional office here in Missoula, and we are fortunate enough to be participating with the Mansfield Center here at the university this year as part of their Professional Fellows Exchange Program. And this is associated with the Young Southeast Asia Leadership Initiative. And we are there are 10 visitors here through the month of October and early November. And we are hosting 2 of them at the National Wildlife Federation as professional fellows, Tai and O, who are here to speak with us today. We're also fortunate to have Bob Anderson to share his expertise from his work in combating illegal wildlife trade. He'll be the 3rd speaker. We're going to start with Au, who's here from Laos, PBR, and she'll tell us a little bit about her work in community and environmental health in her country.
Hello everyone. Sabadi is say hello in Laos. My name is Lamgeun Manivong. You can call me off because easy. Lamgeun Manivong is difficult name to call me. So I'm really excited now to speak. This is also my first time to speak in front of crowded people, especially foreigners. So I feel like that I'm very small here. So thank you so much for Sarah, National Wildlife Federation, to give me an opportunity to share my work, my experience about my work and my organization today. So today I have just a brief speak on my work and my experience. So now today I want to present about my work on environmental education work. First of all, I want to introduce about my organization first. No, my country first. Many people here have no like that Laos. Our country, we like a small country. Our land is landlocked. We has not connect with the sea, and the population now we have around 6,900,000 people now. So this is our official language is Lao. There in Lao we have 49 ethnic groups. They also have very many kind of language that they use in the community. So and now Lao right now is this time is dry season, starting from dry season, because Lao we have 2 seasons, rainy season and dry season. So Lao we have border with China, Vietnam, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand. So the capital city of Laos is Vientiane. I think that many people here should know about Laos a little bit or more. Yeah. So this is the map of Laos. You can see that we small country. Yeah, we border with 5 countries now. So next, I want to introduce about my organization or background of my office. That my office called that Rural Development Agency or RDA. So before we formally under the we are small organization under the PADEC. You know, PADEC is Participatory Development Training Center that we have established in 1980. So until 1996, we changed the name. Yeah, I want to go fast because I feel a little bit so still excited now. That you can read on my present. So we have the name PADEC from 1996 that we try to organize our organization to be like a contribute about the development in communities. So in that time, we try to do like to make in 6 center base that every center have specific or professional in different business field. And one center is that Suan Mai Lao. Suan Mai Lao is Eco-Forest Learning Center. This is our own name. Yeah. Today, we change the name, our name to Rural Development Agency. That this is a non-profit agency that we have funded in 2009. So, my organization, we have experience work with many partners, and we have a lot of networks within Lao communities. And then we have targeting groups like local community, youth people, and also local government. This is our vision and mission of our organization. Our vision is try to be a model agency that inspire and empower rural community. And our mission is facilitating and holistic sustaining capacity training and quality provision of service in community education, environment, and livelihood. So because now that we have 3 objectives to work in our organization, yes, first thing is to provide holistic community learning model for improved and alternative livelihood. Second is to engage and build capacity of community, youth, and women to participate in the development rural communities. And third is provide capacity building service on behalf of partner for community development and sustainability. So based on 3 objectives now, in our organization, we have 3 components work and 3 units. The first unit is environment unit, the second is community education, and the third is livelihood. So today, we have experience work about the environmental education, much in rural and community in Laos. Then I want to share you today. This is our experience about the environmental education project we launched, and now we still continue working on this. So first project is we call RED Plus. Yeah, it's the really long name, grassroots capacity building for reducing emission from deforestation and forest degradation and climate change. We call in short name is RED Plus. And the second project is education environment bus tour, and we call EBT. And the third is reforestation in Sanghobo village. Sanghobo village is the village that in peri-urban in Vientiane capital. We have land on that, and then we try to make like a eco-forest center. So this is an example of the photo that we work with communities. About the Red Plus project, we have 3 provinces to work on this. In northern part, Luang Prabang province, and the southern part, Salavan province. As you can see our photo, we work closely with community and local authorities try them to come up to participate with us in our activity. Yeah. The second is the example of bus tour. Yeah, look, we run this program in Hua Phan province, Sainaburi province. The two province is the northern part, and the second is Khammuan province. Is at my hometown. Khammuan province is the southern part. So, yeah, we call it bus tour because we use like a big truck to implement our activity. So I want to example you about this project. We have we run our activity 1 day per village from morning until late of night. We have work in different groups. In the morning session we work with student in school. In the afternoon we work with local authorities. And the night time we try to do a big screening about show the screening film of environmental biodiversity and some role play and play game and Q&A, asking and questioning and answer. This is you see most of our targeting group is almost in rural area. Some part that some province or some village very difficult for us to access. We have spent more than 1 day or 2 days to access to that village. And that village, there are many indigenous people, different ethnic group. So it's difficult to us communicate with them sometimes. And you can see a school, most of school in rural areas. You see, it's not feminine, it's not safe for children. The third, we want to show you about, this is our Eco Forest Learning Center. You see, we have monk, Buddhist monk, because our land, the first, we invite the monk come to our land to make an ordination forest. Yeah, we use the monk because we believe that most of people in Laos, they believe and trust with monk and Buddhism, and then we have a network with monk. We use the monk come to do an ordination forest that make people feel that this forest, this our forest is like a holy place. We have to keep it. We have to conserve this. Yeah, and this is. We have not much more about the photo here. So, and in our Eco Learning Center, we also use a training service and camping. So we have many kind of group come to our Eco Learning Center, do the day camp and also the 3 days 2 night camp. We provide them also accommodation, food, and the thing that we can provide for the student and also our networking other organization. But unfortunately now, our Eco Forest Learning Center is gone. Because of now we have an investor from Chinese and Vietnamese come closer to our land. And then I think it's not much time they try to come up and hit our land to be the economic zone now. Very unfortunately for us, we try to keep that, save that, but we cannot. So now, but we are still have dream and still working about that. We looking for the new land to make this, to make the eco forest like this too. We won't give up about that. So So I think maybe my present is a little bit confusing as still precise it. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Next speaker, thank you so much.
Hi everyone, thank you very much to be here and also giving me the amazing opportunity to share our work with you all. And I'm not sure how many of you here have been seeing a pangolin, live pangolin. None. Okay. So yeah, so this is the pangolin. So first I want to say a bit about myself. So I've been working with pangolin for 10 years now, and so when I start with the pangolin, we set up the first the rescue center of the pangolin in Vietnam, and also it's one of the most difficult species to keep in captivity. And we've been learning a lot, we become nocturnal, always working in the night time together with pangolin, figure out how to look after, how to feed them, how to design the housing, everything. And finally, we get the success to be able to rescue pangolin and send it back to the wild. So more we work with pangolin, more we know nothing about pangolin, and we hope that we get more people interested in pangolin and doing more work to save the pangolin. So if you not know about the pangolin, it's something you can thinking of the Amarillo. It's something you can see here in America or a lot of zoos across the many different countries. So Amarillo, they have a really hard shell. Same with pangolins, they have a very hard shell outside, and the way they defend themselves. And also they have no teeth and a very long tongue, and where they're feeding on unnatural mice. So there are 8 pangolin species, 4 in Asia and 4 in Africa. So that's why you don't know, because you know pangolin in America. In Vietnam, we have 2 pangolin species. So that is one of our studies. So the red dot is seeing the Chinese pangolins distributed in the central and the north of Vietnam. The green dot is the Sunda pangolin, is distributed more in the central and the south Vietnam. So both species live in critical, and then the species in the IUCN Red List is high protection levels. So we know it's pangolin feeding on ant and termite. We know it's they dig burrow by themselves and stay inside the burrow. We know is they have only one baby, and the mom often take care of the baby. So baby often on the back of the mom when they're coming out. But that is very much almost all we know. We don't know exactly how long pangolin pregnant. We haven't figured out how to breed pangolin for the conservation. A lot of zoo in the US, a lot of zoo in many different countries still haven't worked out how to look after for pangolin in the zoo. So a lot of things we don't know, and in the wild we don't know much about them. We don't know how large is the home range actually, and we don't know very much about is that their territory or they a bit overlap in home range. So a lot of things we still need to study. How pangolin defend themselves, queuing up into the bowl, they can again eaten by tiger or lion, and so when they full size adult, nothing can eat pangolin, except when they are baby with very soft scalp. So with some carnivore, the photo not clear, but that is a crowding mongrel. They come inside the bowl with the baby and the mom inside. Lucky for the baby because the mom stay inside. So the mom normally they protect baby by queue up the baby around the belly. So 2 days later the mom decide to leave the burrow with her baby because we don't feel unsafe in that burrow. So who really is the problem with pangolin? That is people. We have too many people now. We have over 7 billion people. We have 1.4 billion people in China, nearly 100 million people in Vietnam. A lot of people, and bring the problem with the animal. And the first thing people often like talking about the pangolin. People often talking about the chest, but it's the first problem is come from habitat loss. Before shedding and using pangolin happened for many years. By 100 years in Vietnam and many Asian countries, people hunt and eat pangolin. But it's a really real problem is coming up is in last like 20, 30 years. Is people that is concerned like about the pangolin extinction. And because the habitat loss, a lot of people and we destroy a lot of things, destroy the forest, bring the pangolin population is into very small. And also fragmentation is problem a lot. People often think it's tiger, rhino, elephant is something we can't lot over. But right now we find it's a lot of the place in like Taiwan, inbreeding problem a lot with the pangolin population is why. So it's because it's like the forest is very small and it's pangolin cannot move from one area to another, and it's like bring a lot of inbreeding problem. It's a problem with genetic. And of course, because the population is very small, so any other pressure put on the pangolin population, it brings to drive the pangolin to extinction, and that is a hunting. So people hunting a lot for the meat consumption. It's not only in Asia, in Africa also in many other countries, is pangolin been using for the food. It's kind of like a fancy meals. It's very expensive. It's $300 per kilogram of pangolin. And one pangolin normally costs about like $2,000. It's a lot of money. And it's only rich people be able to force to eat pangolin. It's a lot of money for like normal people in Vietnam, and especially so long time before 1990, pangolin normally it been like hunt for like consume locally, but now it's normally for shedding. Traditional medicine is maybe it's not very clear, but it's pangolin scale. It's a pangolin scale we using a lot in the traditional medicine, and especially the country like Vietnam and China. It's a lot of people using the pangolin scale, and so that it brings a lot of the problem for us because they believe the pangolin scale is can treat for like release toxic, like produce more milk for the mom, and a lot of different things. Yeah, and also this whole pangolin put in dry rice to bring dry rice, and also it's a problem for a long time. Like country like Vietnam, pangolin lives in like they've been put in the book, like to show with oral traditional medicine, to teach the oral traditional medicine doctor how good is how the valuable of pangolin and pangolin scale. And of course, if we are no shedding, maybe the pangolin is still okay now. But because the shedding problem, because the economic development in Vietnam and China and many other countries, a lot of rich people want to eat pangolin, and a lot of pangolin is like being shipping to the city, to like in big city in Vietnam or to China to consume. And so a lot of pangolin in all of different Asian countries been to sell to Vietnam and China. And in US here, now it's every week have a like illegal pangolin product come to US because it's like a lot of the Asian community here. And so that is a like global problem. It's not one single problem of one country. So that is the problem of the pangolin. So we're talking a bit about like the Save Vietnam Wildlife, why we are doing what we do and what we've been doing. So Save Vietnam Wildlife is national non-profit organization and in Vietnam, and so we believe it's a problem of Vietnam, and the Vietnamese people need to take list into solve the problem. And that's why, and I really hope we can do something to make more people to work to support for pangolin conservation. So that's the story of the one-hour animal named Lucky. He's been confiscated together with 67 pangolin, and the government only sent for us 5, and 62 other pangolin that been sold back to the chest. So it's legal in Vietnam to sell confiscated pangolin back to the chest. happened is last year. So, and now it's still happened with many other species. So it's a law problem here. Lucky for the pangolin. Why is his name Lucky? Because when I came to rescue him, rescued 5 pangolin, and I saw one of them already dead. It's really sad. But and then I asked government officer, can I change for the alive pangolin? And they said, yes, you need to pick up smallest one. And I pick up Lucky, so that's why his name Lucky. And he lucky because he been cared by us, and he lucky because he not been like going to like for the food menu or for the traditional medicine. And he lucky now he's still being with us, and he is the ambassador of the pangolin, and he are going to talk his story to other people, and hopefully more people care about him and also other pangolins. So we've been working really hard to change the law, and then from 2014, the Vietnamese government agreed to put the pangolin in high protection level in Vietnam. So it's no more like legally selling pangolin back to the chest. That is a good thing, but it also creates a problem. Like we solve the big problem, but it creates a small problem. It's a problem because it's very hard to keep pangolin in captivity, but we are now holding 70 pangolin, and it's like around 21 kilogram of ant we feed for pangolin every day. You know, like 21 kilogram of ant, like 40 pounds. It's how many ants we can collect that enough, but it's government officers say we need to keep that, we need to keep until they can close the case, because that is the evidence from the case. So yeah, the problem, and we still try to work with government to bring it's only working with some certain species, but with the pangolin we can't keep it for a long time, and we need to release them, and still in the discussion with the government. But biggest success of the Save Vietnam Wildlife the last year is we able to remove the pangolin scale out of the list we cover by health insurance in Vietnam. Like it means like before someone sick, using scale in the hospital, and the government pay for them to use the scale. And lucky we create like 3 workshops in Vietnam, and now the pangolin no more legally selling in the hospital, and government is not pay for someone to using scale in the hospital. So to compare with China, so in China now still like in 5 years 134 ton of pangolin scale been legally used in the hospital in China. So around 26 ton of pangolin scale now still be legally used in China. It's allowed by Chinese government, and we need to change, and we need to talk more with the Chinese government to change. So that is the way we work with government. And the next thing is we rescue animals. So here in the United States, most of people thinking rescue animal is animal is running across the road, and it's hidden by car, and people that bring to the to the rescue center to rescue them. But it's a problem in Vietnam is much bigger than that. It's thousands of pangolin come to the chest, and when the government, when the police, when the ranger is confiscate them, we need to have the option. We need to bring that animal back to the forest. That's why we need to rescue animals. Sorry, the picture is not very clear, but that is how confiscated pangolin being kept, and it's very much the terrible condition being kept like that in really bad condition for like 1 to 2 weeks. And most of animals come to us it's very, very weak. A lot of them have a wound. Like around 40% of animals come to our center have a wound. Like because from the snare trap, from the dog, or from the transport, this all bring a lot of health problems with the animal. And that is the way government rescue pangolin. I'm not sure you can see clearly, but it's like lot of pangolin being released one place and together with many animals. And pangolin is in really bad condition. And in the wild, at least we know in pangolin territory, and they are not. So by releasing a lot of animals in one location, it brings a lot of stress, like for fighting home range in the future. And yeah. So Save Vietnam Wildlife, it's a like first rescue center in the region. We working with pangolin, and we working. We save a lot of the pangolin. The last 3 months we released 35 pangolin in the forest, and also now we have 70 pangolins that waiting to be released. We not stop that only rescue pangolin. We also need to understand what is happening with the pangolin in the wild, what they are doing, and we're doing a lot of research and try to understand where is the pangolin, what they are doing, and like the behavior and ecology of the pangolin. We also doing the radio tracking pangolin. So we follow the pangolin, see do they survive after release, how they are doing, and collect all of the information. Of course, we have a lot of the problem. Actually, we don't have much time to share about like more specific about study, but still a lot of the problem of radio tracking animal. We also working with the public. So first is like we have an education program, and we training for people. We interview the public, understand what the public needs, what they know about the pangolin, what they understand pangolin, and what they recommend us to do to save the pangolin. And that is we right now have 114 volunteers to carry the public survey across the country, and so far they've been done like over 8,000 people, and yeah, it nearly gets there. We hopefully get around 10,000 people to get very good foundation information of the public in Vietnam about the pangolin. We not stop that about like interview people. After we interview people, we give them the kind of certificates. In Vietnam, like same with you guys, if you meet someone very famous, you want them to have a signature and everything, and keep that for a very long time. In Vietnam, kind of like the official thing is like the red stamp. When people see red stamp, is something is really good, very like formal and good thing for them to keep. So we stamp like 10,000 like copy of the certificate with the information of the pangolin. We also train for our volunteer to educate people. After they get all the information, and then they educate people. And if you eat pangolin, you shouldn't eat anymore. Shouldn't eat a pangolin in the future. And that is something we hope. We're also doing the training for government officer, training for the ranger. We also create a lot of the publication, student book, and information to educate people across the country to learn about the animal. And that is the site we build in the forest to educate people about the wildlife, the value of the wildlife. So people often see, problem come from Asia. Problem come from like Vietnamese, Chinese, but not all the people in Vietnam, not all the people in China is really bad. Because it's too many people and still even very small population, it brings a lot of the problem because it's not many pangolins there and not many other wildlife species there. So so even with very small number of people bring a lot of the problem. But we see the change. We see a lot of young people now is care for environment, and even with the guy here. So he's the driver. He got like only $300 for the 1 month history, and he saw the pangolin run across the road, and it's near a lot of people. And he said, "I'm not concerned about that pangolin maybe caused by other people." And so he bring the pangolin to home. He didn't trust the government. He didn't trust the ranger. He didn't trust the police. He said he's not worried about like if he brings that animal to police, they may like steal his animal. So he been really hard to searching information in like searching information about the like NGO and lucky he found us and he talking with us. He talked with us like I need someone to help me to release that animal back to the wild. It's like over 100,000 kilometers away, like about 600 miles away. It's a long way not to have the one pangolin. But we still like come and help him and to release that animal, and we just see the happiness from him to see the animal going back to the wild. And we now also seeing a lot of the business people who rich, he gets the like gift pangolin from the business partner, and then they just call us and I want to release that animal. So that is really good. So yeah, that's the problem of the pangolin. That is something we achieve. But what is the future for the pangolin? We just see, it's simple here to say, you see the problem of someone eat pangolin, you not allow them to eat using pangolin in traditional medicine without ban is. If the government officer not working, you not fight. But it's not easy like that because of the eating pangolin, using pangolin product, and it's happened for like many years, hundreds of years, and kind of the culture, and it's really hard to break and hard to change. But we need to do that. It's not give up. We need to do and we need to find and to save the animal. And that is the education center. That is the design we hopefully open by the end of this year with the pangolin and some other species of the wildlife. But we need to work together. And what you guys here can do, like if you are a student and can like volunteer to do the pangolin or carry the pangolin research, working with us, contact with us, the press out the message about the pangolin, let more like people. And yeah, the global problem is not only the people in Asia. You need to spread out the message about the pangolin to like population here in America. Not many people know about the pangolin, and come to our website. Come to our website, get all of that information. You can tell all other people about the pangolin and help them to take care with this species. Or we have some of the pangolin t-shirts here, that's $10 like for the t-shirts. And it's not about the profits we want to get from you, but it's a way, when you wear it, it's a way we raise the public awareness about the pangolin conservation. And that is really something we really want to do. And we hopefully you are the people and who we take care of the pangolin and help us to spread out the word for the pangolin conservation. Thank you.
And Ty started this organization as an NGO a year ago and is carrying this load and really is quite a hero in his work.
I will. Hi, how are you? We're going to leave 5 minutes for questions. If we can, we lose this room at 1. So I'm not going to use my PowerPoint. I'm just going to sort of go very fast, about 10,000 feet over this limited subject matter, and then hopefully leave some time for questions. My name is Bob Anderson. For the last 24 years, I've been a prosecutor with the largest nonprofit law firm in the world, which is the United States Department of Justice. And I live here in Missoula, but I prosecute environmental crimes here in the United States and internationally, specifically wildlife crimes. So I want to tell you a little bit about that in a global way, very, very quickly, and then focus in on how we work, your government, how your government works with Southeast Asia to address the issues that we've just heard about. So we have an environment division at DOJ, which has about 400 lawyers in it, and 40 of those lawyers are prosecutors. We go anywhere, any federal court in the United States to prosecute Endangered Species Act, smuggling, conspiracy, Lacey Act, trafficking cases involving wildlife, and pollution, Clean Water Act and Clean Air Act. You can walk into any federal court without being admitted in any particular district and prosecute these cases. we do a lot of international work with countries that are struggling to address these gigantic issues of wildlife trade. It's obvious that as the population of the world has grown, and as what used to be sustainable traditional uses of wildlife have become international trafficking, profit-making centers for folks. I've just passed around here an elephant tusk, in case just for anybody who'd never hefted an elephant tusk before. That's obviously something in the news. Elephants are being wiped out as status items so that people can own things that look like this. This is an ivory chop, which has a little Chinese character on the bottom, and if you're a person who wants to show off in China, you have this and you use it to stamp your correspondence, and this is what elephants are being killed for. This little chop right here. I passed around a chartreuse shawl. You might not have ever seen one of those before. That's a $5,000 garment made out of the underfur of Tibetan antelope, which are poached in large numbers in the Tibetan steppe to make this fashion item, which this one was seized at the Sloan Kettering Cancer Benefit in New York City a few years ago from one of the ladies who lunched. So you have people importing these products. These are status products. This is not for medicine. This is not for sustenance. A lot of the wildlife trade we see, rhino horns, supposedly for medicine, no proven medicinal value, species being wiped out for this trade. People will tell you it's $20 billion, $30 billion, $50 billion. No one knows what the profits for this hidden illegal trade are. So what do we do in the United States? We address this by trying to make sure we have investigative and prosecution capacity. It's all about things that are coming into us. We are the largest consumer of wildlife as a single country in the world, in terms of importing illegal things. So we try to have good capacity. We've had laws going back about 50 years that have allowed us to really become fairly advanced. We're the only country in the world that has 40 prosecutors dedicated to prosecuting domestic and international wildlife cases. So we lead the world in terms of statutory legislation that we've passed, regulations, investigative capacity, and prosecution capacity. So what do we do with that? We, as part of the President's directive in 2013 to combat illegal wildlife trafficking, and as part of our mission under trade agreements and bilateral agreements with other countries, we are constantly on the road in places like Vietnam, where we were a couple of years ago, Laos PDR, China. We have a team that just landed in Zambia today to do a 5-country workshop, trying to educate investigators, prosecutors, and judges about why and how these kinds of cases should be addressed. Wildlife trade has become a source of terrorist funding around the world. You've probably read the recent National Geographic article about this. It's a well-documented fact that not only does the taking of the habitat, which Ty mentioned, for the timber trade create massive instability in terms of simple economic values for the communities that live there. But it creates, of course, a massive multi-billion-dollar trade in timber, and it removes the habitat where wildlife like pangolins live. So we are trying to address this. We just changed legislation 3 years ago to address the timber trade, the industrial timber trade, and that's a gigantic problem all on its own, quite apart from the fact that everything that lives, swims, or crawls inside that habitat that's being harvested also has a price. Somebody's buying it. In Southeast Asia, 10 countries have come together in what's called the Wildlife Enforcement Network, or Nguyen. So ASEAN Nguyen is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Wildlife Enforcement Network. And this creates a framework in which these countries can work together, and government agencies that might not otherwise talk to each other, might not otherwise feel they share a common need to cooperate in the apprehension of people making money on this trade, are brought together periodically for workshops, for training, for communication. So what do we see as a DOJ prosecutor up into 23 countries in this job doing this kind of capacity building? What do I see as the main obstacles to succeeding when we address the problems we just heard about? Money, 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 money. There's never enough money. Ty was talking about how for pangolins, they can't even tell us how many pangolins of which species there are in the wild, because there just isn't enough money to do the simple biology necessary to be able to quantify the threat. The international organization that regulates trade in wildlife is called CITES. Some of you may have heard of it. I worked as their enforcement officer for a while, back in the day. In order to list a species like pangolins, on a higher level than CITES, and to get more protections, and to ban international commercial trade, you have to go to the 190 members of CITES, 180, and convince them that you have enough biological evidence that this critter is going extinct due to trade. So you have to have biologists on the ground initially telling you what's the status. Then you have to have customs agents who care about wildlife, who will see a wildlife shipment come in and seize it, instead of saying, well, I don't deal with wildlife. I deal with drugs and commercial products that are not coded correctly for tariffs. You have to educate customs agencies. In a lot of the countries we deal with, there isn't something like the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They have federal police, like our FBI. And in a lot of the countries in Southeast Asia, if you want to get a search warrant to try to investigate a case, you have to get the equivalent of the FBI to authorize the search warrant. And the equivalent of the FBI will often say, we don't do wildlife cases. We do drugs and guns and, real crime. We don't do wildlife stuff. So the other obstacle that we see, aside from money, is simply just human factors. Putting people in a room and making them, hoping to encourage them to see the shared value in broadening the remit of the agency or the outfit that they work with. And then one of the last things I'll say before I'll stop is, legislation is very ineffective in a lot of the countries that are developing in their approach to this. If you've heard of the CITES Treaty, you may know that it is not self-enforcing. So there are 180 countries that have signed up to this treaty. They're signatories. But each country has to pass legislation internally to give it any effect. We use the Endangered Species Act for that in this country. But over half the countries that are members of CITES have not passed implementing legislation. So we have these every 2-year giant meetings and we discuss species that need to be uplisted and downlisted and cross-listed. But half of the countries involved couldn't enforce a CITES violation if they wanted to because they haven't passed the legislation. So we were at DOJ, you might be happy to know, that the United States government spent a lot of time in conjunction with the State Department, USAID, the World Customs Organization, Interpol. Interpol does a lot of work coordinating the federal police agencies on wildlife cases. And a host of other NGOs like Traffic, Wildland, and Freeland. We're all aiming at cooperating in situations like this. And then I'll sit down and let questions start. Oh, I'm already out of time. We hear about Cecil the lion, right, being shot in Africa, and everybody's hair goes on fire. People in my business say,